With me today is Board President of GRF, Beth Perrick. Great to have you here today.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Good to be here.
Now, you know, I was even kind of wondering because I thought you'd be sleeping in after yesterday's meeting.
You would think I would. We met from 9:30 in the morning till 5:30 in the afternoon with a half an hour lunch.
Yeah.
It was like, whew, long meeting.
Yeah.
But the agenda was this thick.
Right.
And folks needed to come to the podium and share some ideas with us, and so it just ended up being a really long day. So one of the things I'm going to do this morning is I just picked some things I think you might be interested in. If I went through the whole meeting, we would be here till maybe 5.
All right, so I'll let you get started. You got your list there?
Okay, my list starts out with what my chair remarks were, and I honored all of the folks who live here in Laguna Woods who labored for a lot of years in a career and are retired now, or the folks who live here and are still working.
Right.
So, and laboring. In addition to that, I'd like to honor the staff who just does marvelous work for us, and all the board members. It's amazing the work and the hours that go into working and volunteering for a board, as well as the advisors. And then I just really have to say, going to the volunteer luncheon, attending the volunteer luncheon, and seeing over 500 people attending that luncheon, honoring the volunteers. That's a lot of volunteers that make Laguna Woods Village a wonderful place to live.
Yeah, it's good to have them.
So that's what I started out with. And then it was our VMS report time, and it was kind of a little bit of bittersweet because Lucy Scheinman was the one who gave the VMS report, and she's being termed out. So we will be losing Lucy, and we just honor her, and we're so happy for her service, and we are grateful to her. Then we had the CEO and COO made their reports, and a couple of things that I wanted to pull out and mention to you. Senate Bill 754, Jeff Parker talked about and said that it's working through the legislature, and hopefully it will be passed. And what it contains is an ability to be able to acclaim that folks who are candidates for a board are, if the number of candidates match the openings, then they can acclaim that they are board members, which saves thousands of dollars on our part having to put together an election. Another thing is Gate 4 has reopened, and they're doing an analysis for Gate 11, and by November, we hope that November meeting they'll bring it to the GRF for approval, so that we will then have a gate on Gate 11. We'll have the the bars. What's the word?
Oh, you're talking about as you drive through the
everybody out there knows what we're talking about, and we both lost the
crossing.
Word.
Yes.
Right. So then the next thing
we're like, why can't we think of that?
Yes. So then the next thing is on September 13th from 9 till 11 o'clock, the toll road representatives will be here for an activity called Stick and Go, because they've changed from the transponder, the square transponder, to a sticker that goes on your windshield, and they will be here to help folks out. They'll accept your transponder and put your sticker on, and if you're not a member of the toll roads, you'll have an opportunity to join then at that time.
And we're going to have a representative on, I forget which day, I want to say September 9th, but I might be wrong on that, and they're going to talk about this. So I've already gone through this where I live, so I have the sticker. But I have some questions for them about the transponder.
Oh, okay.
You know, and some interesting things on that, because I'm wondering, you know, when you have the transponder, well, if you had a loaner car or you had somebody else maybe visiting, you could give them your transponder and then you would go online and put in their license number and you were good to go. So I'm going to ask them about that now, because
good question.
That was a convenience.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Good question.
I'm going to find out.
Well, I'll be watching.
Okay.
Sure.
And I don't quote me on the day of September 9th. For some reason, I think that, but I'm not 100% sure. But we're going to get them on a few days ahead of time.
Okay. So then the next thing is September 19th from 9 till 12:30 at the PAC. There'll be a program about senior scams, which I think would be really interesting to hear. And of course, both our CEO and when the treasurer gave her report, went through a 2020 business plan,
Right.
reserve funding plan, and the GRF capital plan,
Yeah.
which we've been going through and through and through the budget
Right.
season. And now this is the last where
Yeah.
GRF says amen to it,
Yes.
to the plans. So then, Ken, I just wanted to talk about a couple interesting and informative
Okay.
discussions that went on. And number one is questioning. We have what's called the President's Vice President's meeting once a month. And we've had this for the past at least 4 years.
Okay.
And so this is from each of the boards, from VMS, from the towers, from United, from Third, and from GRF.
Yeah.
All 5. And we meet and we talk about things just casual.
Right.
You know, what's happening? I've got this concern. What do you think? How do you do this? And really, people are concerned that possibly we're doing financial things or a secret thing, and it is not any of the
Right.
above. It's like a job alike, and that's the way
Yeah,
I explained
yes.
it. It's a job alike, and all of us who have been in different careers, or just my example was just being a mom and going to the Little League field and talking with the other moms.
Yes.
That's a job alike. What are you doing with your child for
Yeah.
da-da-da-da? So we had checked this through with 2 of our lawyers, a lawyer for United, Jeff Beaumont, and for our lawyer, Kelly Richardson, and GRF, and both said, you're fine. That's a good idea to have
Yeah.
that meeting. So, and then the next thing that we discussed is Corporation Code 8334, the director's right to access records. And so the question was, what records can we as directors request? Does it have to be a completed record? Can it be in draft form? Can it be a working copy? How does that go?
Okay.
So where we are now with that is the lawyer is working on
Okay.
it. It went to the attorney, but it's an excellent question. The next question for discussion was the PAC renovation, Clubhouse 3
Yes.
renovation. And there have been rumors that go all over the place about that. And what happened was when we've been working on this for at least 4 years now. When the architects came back with their study, they gave us 3 different levels. They gave us the Cadillac version, which
Right.
would have cost, I don't know, I've heard several things, but 17, 20 million, whatever. Lots of money, and then middle, and then what you really need to get done. And what we're doing is what you really need to get done. And so what we really need to get done is the safety issues, the rigging on the stage.
Right.
It's just absolutely necessary, and then doing some cosmetics.
Okay.
So just to assure people that is what's happening with the PAC renovation.
Okay.
And
one of the things I wanted to ask about that, because
Sure.
it was brought up, a couple things were brought up. The HVAC system
yes.
was brought up. And also, and I don't know if this is something you're going to be doing in this first round or this phase, of changing the seating, because people are saying we want a little wider seats, more room, that sort of thing. But as someone mentioned, that's not just changing the seating, that's changing a whole lot. I mean, even the way that the incline is and everything else. So is that part in this at this point, or the HVAC system?
Not at this level. And the HVAC is its own deal
Okay.
that's in. It's not a part of this.
This, okay.
Yeah, because that's something that we just needed to do.
Right, okay.
It was, if you had the shortened version is the old air conditioning, if the air conditioning was on, it had to be in the whole building,
Right.
the theater part as well as the offices and the lobby. And we didn't need that
Yes.
much. And it was not being efficient, and so we
Okay.
needed to trade that out.
Okay.
So
But that's a different.
it's a different, and looking at the seating and doing some of that work inside the theater part is another section, another level to be addressed at another time.
Okay.
And what we're talking about with the Village Community Fund, and that's the naming group
Right.
that
Yes.
started. Well, we're talking about, and this is years down the line when we will address it, then we could possibly, with seeding, be able to fund that by having people donate money for a chair or whatnot.
Okay.
But that's just discussion and on down the line, but I know people are talking about that.
Right. Okay.
So that's not in the works. It's basically getting it to be a safe area.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so what is next is, I was so happy that one of the folks came up to the podium to question an item when Diane Phelps presented the treasurer's report and the budget. And she questioned one item of why were we spending money on this. And Diane addressed that, but we were so happy to have that opportunity to be able to say, this is not the time to ask those questions.
Yes.
Your time to ask those questions is, please come to the committee meetings and share your ideas and share your concerns. And that's
Right.
where all the work gets done. You dig into things and you come up with ideas. And and representatives are there from all of the mutuals so that decisions can be made together as a community, and then it comes to the GRF board, and hopefully all the arguing has been done, and then we'll just have our board discuss it and whatever, and then hopefully pass. So I would like to reiterate, if you are interested, please do come to committee meetings, and you can find out on the Globe list the committee meetings for each week. So the next thing I want to talk about is the shared cost task force. And that is something that through the years you wonder, okay, what are they talking about with shared cost and how does that go? So what we did was we decided to have a committee do some research on shared cost.
Right.
And I appointed Diane Phelps as lead of that because she's our treasurer. And her task with her part of that task force is to look for revenue sources. Is there any way that we can make money for GRF, which would help us to not have to raise assessments?
Right.
This year, we're really happy that our portion of assessment is only like $2.60 for GRF and how it's being raised. But we would like to even better that. And so to do that, how can you raise funds? She had a really well-attended brainstorming meeting where people from the community came in and gave their ideas of what we can do. I want to emphasize, we're not selling any property. We are not selling anything. We're seeing what we can do to make money. And we had lots of different, a real variety of ideas.
Right.
I know that the ideas out there got people really worried what is going to happen with our community. Anything that happens, anything that would be done won't happen for several years on the line. But, and the goal would be to make it a better place for our people, not a difficult place. So Diane is in charge of that part of the revenue sharing. And then the other part of that task force, Annette Soul, our first vice president, is in charge of. And what she's doing is she's researching what are shared cost models? What do they look like? Where are they out there in the world? And what is the research on what's good, what's best? How does that work? What has worked with us historically? And how can we look at it today and say, what's the best shared cost model for Laguna Woods Village today?
Okay.
So that is what she's doing. She's doing the model, shared cost model, and Diane is doing the revenue.
Okay.
Increased revenue. So then the next thing that I have for you is Joan Millman and Cindy Whitney are working through Thrive and discussing maybe starting a kindness project. Anaheim, several years ago, under a particular mayor that I do not know his name, started a kindness project and got themselves known as the Kindness City. And so Joan is looking into having him come and speak to us here in Laguna Woods Village and see if there's a way that we could maybe start a kindness project, caring about one another.
Okay.
So that's through Thrive. And a committee report, the committee reports were really interesting, but I'm not going to go through each one of them because it was
Right.
such a long day. But the security, Don Tibbetts let us know with security that it is so important. If you're going to have a guest overnight, staying overnight, you need to make sure that you check at the gate and get an overnight parking pass
Okay.
that you have. So my last item is, as I'm going to reiterate, please check the Globe, find out about committee meetings, and come and participate in our meetings.
All right. Very good. Good to see you.
It's great to see you, Ken.
Yes, and glad to see that you know, you're moving along with what's needed at the Performing Arts Center.
Yeah.
And you know that well.
I know that well.
Yeah, you know that. But you're keeping it to the point of what do we need right now?
What do we need?
Yes.
Safety-wise, what has to get done?
Yeah, that's true. Good to see you.
Great
Thank
seeing
you very much.
you. Thank
you. Take
you.
care.
Appreciate it.
We'll be back.